The sun had barely risen above the eastern hills when the village of Caesarea stirred to life. Morning smoke curled from mud huts, and the scent of boiling rice drifted into the warm air. The people here lived simple lives, close to the soil, close to their hardships, and close to their sorrows. Among them was a young man named Erav, whose heart had grown heavier with each passing year. Erav was known across the village not for strength or wealth, but for an ever-restless mind. He felt a constant sense of emptiness, as if something important was missing, something he could not explain. Although only 25, his eyes carried the dullness of someone twice his age. His family had died in a flood years earlier. His crops often failed, and the occasional day labor he found barely kept hunger away. More than these troubles, however, was a deeper suffering, a burning question. Why do we suffer, and how do we end it? One morning, as Erav sat near the river, watching the current sweep away fallen leaves, he overheard a group of travelers speaking excitedly. "The Buddha, the awakened one, has arrived in Vaishali. They say he teaches the path beyond sorrow, the path to peace." Erav's heart jolted awake. He had heard stories of the Buddha, of how he once lived as a prince, but walked away from his palace to seek truth. They said even kings bowed before him, not because he demanded it, but because his presence shone brighter than gold. That evening, after thinking for hours beneath a banyan tree, Erav decided he must go. He had nothing to offer, no coins, no gifts, not even proper shoes. Still, something within him insisted, "Go. You must hear him." The journey begins. The road to Vaishali was long and dusty. Erav walked for 2 days, stopping only to drink from wells or rest beneath shady trees. His feet blistered, his throat burned, but he felt lighter than he had in years. Each step carried a quiet hope. On the 3rd day, he reached a large gathering just outside the city. Thousands of people had assembled beneath the great sala trees. Some were nobles, some monks, some beggars, and some ordinary villagers. Yet everyone waited with the same expectant breath. A hush slowly fell over the crowd. Arav, standing at the very back, craned his neck. And then he saw him. The Buddha walked toward the gathering with serene steps. His robe was simple, the color of sunrise. His face was calm, softer than the wind, and his eyes, gentle, unblinking, seemed to hold the whole world in understanding. Erav felt as if the earth itself had paused. Buddha sat on a raised stone under the shade of a large tree. The rustling leaves settled. Then he began to speak. His voice carried effortlessly across thousands. Within every human heart burns a lamp, covered not by darkness, but by ignorance. Remove the covering, and the light of peace shines naturally. Erav listened with trembling attention. Buddha spoke of suffering, its roots, and the path beyond it. He spoke of craving, attachment, illusions, and how the mind creates its own chains. His words felt simple, yet they sounded like the truth Erav had been seeking all his life. When the discourse ended, people lined up seeking blessings or counsel. The line stretched endlessly. Erav hesitated. What if he was unworthy? What could he possibly ask? Yet something inside him pushed him forward, face to face with wisdom. After hours, Arav finally stood before the Buddha. His legs trembled and his throat tightened. Up close, the Buddha's presence felt like a still pond, quiet, deep, and infinitely peaceful. The Buddha looked at him with soft curiosity. "What troubles you, young one?" Arav fell to his knees. "Lord, my life is full of suffering. I have lost my family, my home, my joy. I do not understand why my heart feels so heavy. Please tell me, why do I suffer?" The Buddha's smile was gentle, like a sunrise breaking through fog. "You suffer because you believe your sorrows are yours. You cling to what has passed, fear what may come, and resist what is. This clinging is the root of suffering." Av frowned. "But how do I let go? Pain feels so real." The Buddha pointed to a leaf on the ground. "Pick it up." Arav did. "Now hold it tightly," Buddha instructed. Arav clenched his fist around the leaf. The dry edges dug into his skin. "Does it hurt?" Buddha asked. "Yes," Arav whispered. "Then release it." Arav opened his hand. The leaf floated away with a breeze. "Pain arrives," Buddha said, "but suffering is what we create by clinging to that pain. Release your grip, even if slowly, and your suffering will fade like this leaf." Arav felt something loosen in his chest, a tiny space of clarity. "But Master," he asked, "my heart wanders constantly. It chases thoughts, memories, fears. How do I find peace when my mind behaves like a wild horse?" Buddha nodded knowingly. "The mind is indeed wild, but even a wild horse can be trained with patience, kindness, and understanding. This is why we practice meditation, to teach the mind to return home." He then added, "Sit with me tomorrow at dawn. Let us see where your mind wanders." The first meditation. At dawn, amidst the chorus of birds, Arav joined a small group of seekers seated under the trees. The Buddha sat at the center, upright yet relaxed. "Close your eyes," he instructed softly. "Watch your breath." Arav tried. For a moment he felt calm, but soon his mind exploded with thoughts, memories of his drowned parents, fears about food, regret, anger, loneliness. His breath became uneven. Sweat gathered on his brow. After the session, he approached the Buddha with embarrassment. "Master, I failed. I couldn't stop my thoughts." The Buddha's laughter was warm. "Why do you think meditation means stopping thoughts? Meditation is simply seeing them, without wrestling them, without judging them. Imagine the sky. Thoughts are clouds. Some are dark, some are bright, but the sky does not chase them. It simply allows them to pass. Be the sky, Ahav, not the clouds." For the first time in years, Ahav smiled. Wisdom in small lessons. Ahav stayed in Vaishali for several weeks. Every day he listened to the Buddha's teachings, learning through questions, stories, and silent observation. One evening, Ahav found the Buddha washing a simple clay bowl. "Master," he asked, "why do you wash your own bowl? Many would gladly do it for you." The Buddha looked up. "If I depend on others for what I can do myself, I weaken my own mind. Humility and independence walk hand in hand." Another time, Ahav saw a group of villagers insulting a monk. Their harsh words echoed loudly. The monk remained calm. Upset, Ahav told Buddha about it. The Buddha smiled. "If a man offers a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" "Still to the giver," Ahav answered. "Exactly. Anger works the same.
If you do not accept someone's anger, it returns to them. Arav felt as if a door inside him had opened. The test of wisdom. Months passed. Arav's mind grew clearer, his heart lighter. Yet he knew he couldn't stay forever. His village still awaited him, with its struggles and responsibilities. Before departing, Arav sought the Buddha one last time. "Master," he said, "I fear that once I return to my old life, I will lose this peace. How do I carry your wisdom into the world?" The Buddha plucked a lotus from the pond beside him. It was beautiful, untouched by the mud from which it had grown. "Arav," he said, "this lotus blooms in mud, yet remains unstained. The world is the mud, but your mind can be the lotus." He placed the flower in Arav's hand. "Remember, peace is not found in forests or mountains. Peace is found within, when you understand the nature of reality." Arav bowed deeply.
Return to Caesarea. When Arav walked back into his village, the familiar struggles still existed. Poor harvests, quarrels, illnesses. But Arav himself had changed. He no longer reacted blindly to problems. Instead, he responded with clarity. When someone insulted him, he remained calm. When he remembered his lost family, he felt sadness, but no longer the crushing grief that once drowned him. He began teaching children to breathe deeply when angry, and many villagers, noticing his transformation, sought his guidance. People asked him, "Arav, what magic cured your sorrow?" He smiled. "Not magic, understanding." He told them what Buddha taught, that suffering begins in the mind, that letting go is strength, that compassion softens every wound, that meditation is a doorway to peace, and that wisdom is the lamp inside everyone. The final lesson. Years passed. Arav grew older, wiser, and more compassionate. One day, a young boy named Milan ran to him crying. His clay pot had broken, and he was devastated. Arav knelt beside him. "Look at this pot, Milan. Was it meant to last forever?" "No," the boy sniffed. "Then why grieve something that was destined to break?" The boy thought deeply, wiping his tears. Arf rested a hand on his head. "Nothing in this world stays forever. When we accept this, our hearts become free." As Milan walked away, calmer and thoughtful, Arav looked up at the sky. The clouds drifted gently, just as the Buddha had described. Arav smiled. Inside him, the lamp of wisdom still burned bright. A glimpse of enlightenment. Late one evening, as the sun melted into shades of orange, Arav sat under his village banyan tree, the same tree where he had once felt lost and hopeless. He breathed slowly, letting his awareness settle. He watched his thoughts without clinging. He felt his emotions without resisting. He observed life unfolding around him, children playing, birds returning to nests, smoke rising from cooking fires. For the first time, he felt an unwavering truth. Peace was never somewhere else, it was here, inside him all along. He remembered the Buddha's words, "The lamp is within you. Remove the covering and it will shine." That night, Arav felt as though the darkness inside him had finally dissolved. He was not enlightened like the Buddha, but he had found something precious: clarity, acceptance, and a mind at ease. Legacy of wisdom. As years rolled into decades, Arv became known as the peaceful one in nearby villages. People traveled to seek his advice. He never claimed to be a teacher. Instead, he gently guided them to see their own minds. He reminded everyone, do not fight your thoughts, understand them. Do not cling to what changes, embrace impermanence. Do not live in anger, choose compassion. Do not seek peace outside, it grows within. His guidance softened countless hearts, and many lives changed for the better. The ending that was a beginning. One quiet morning, when Arv was old and frail, he closed his eyes under the banyan tree and let out a long, gentle breath. A deep stillness washed over him, like the calm river of his youth. He felt no fear, no attachment, no sorrow, just peace. Those who found him later said he looked as though he were simply resting, a soft smile on his lips. His final expression reflected a truth he had lived for decades. When the mind understands, the heart finds peace. And though Arav was gone, the wisdom he received from the Buddha lived on, spreading quietly through stories, memories, and the hearts he touched. Just like the lamp within, passed from one soul to another. Thank you for listening. May peace and wisdom guide your path. If this story touched your heart, share it and spread the light. Until we meet again, keep learning, keep growing, keep shining.